So yesterday we understood about global, local adjustments. So today we'll understand more about global adjustments. What are global adjustments? First and foremost about the global adjustment, let's start. There are two things. First is color, second is black and white. You can do the adjustments in black and white as well as color. But remember one thing, you whatever adjustments you will do in black and white, if you go to the color, it will show that adjustment that has been done in black and white. Second thing is the profile. It's basically the camera color profile that you have used. By default, it gives Adobe Color Raw, and you can change it to the given profile which you have clicked the pictures in, like faithful, neutral, portrait, or you can keep it in camera raw. According to the profile that you change, the colors will, the color shift will be there a little bit. Okay. So next is the temperature and the tinge. The temperature is always between warm and cool. That's yellow and blue. The more you shift towards the temperature toward blue, it will give a cooler tone. The more you shift towards the red, yellow, it will give a warmer tone. Below temperature, there is a thing called tinge. So what does tint do? Tint basically is a color shift between magenta and green. The more you shift it towards the green, it will give a green color cast tint. The more you shift it towards the magenta, it will give a magenta color tint. Next is the exposure. Exposure is basically, we can say, is the midtones, highlights and shadows of the image. The more you increase the exposure, the more the highlights will increase and it will shift towards the white. The more you decrease that exposure, it will shift towards the shadows and it will come down towards the blacks. So next is contrast. What is contrast? Contrast is basically a mixture of hue, saturation and luminance, means whites and blacks. The more you increase the contrast, the more the saturation will increase, the more the blacks and whites of the image will increase. See, the more you decrease, the more whiteness will increase and more the saturation of the image will, or the vibrancy of the image will decrease. This is the basic difference between exposure and contrast ratio. Clear about it? Clear about it? The exposure as well as your exposure and contrast. So let's go to the highlights. What does a highlight does? Highlight basically corrects the highlights of the image in the sense of colors, in colors, in the sense of colors. And what does whites does? It will adjust the whites of the image in shadows, midtones and grays. So let's do a over image. Suppose we did a over image. Now if we try to adjust the highlights, what will happen? It will adjust the highlights of the, it will adjust the highlights of the image and to restore the saturations. Now if we go with the whites, it will try to neutralize the whites, blacks and grays. Can you see the difference? It's trying to bring out the whites more towards gray when we are adjusting whites. In highlights, it's trying to reduce the highlights and restore the colors. See, highlights. Did you see the difference between the two? Did you see the difference between the two? Okay. So next, let's come to the shadow part. If we underexpose the image, what does a shadow does? A shadow will increase the shadow area, recover the shadow areas of your image, only recover the area, shadow areas, and try to retain the colors. What will black do? Black will try to remove the black in the process of white, gray, or black. See, this work shadow does it tries to just pull off the shadows, and black will try to pull up the overall blacks of the image. It shadows will work overall shadows of the image. Now, if you try to pull up the highlights and whites, it will try to pull up the highlights and whites of the image. So this is the work of a exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Any confusion in it? Any questions or any confusion in it?
I mean, how to know the best whites and blacks in histogram or something?
Now this is the underexposed image. If I try to pull the shadows, it will bring the shadows, but it will change the colors of the image, the saturation of the image. Okay. Can you see as I pull the shadows? It's not effect. It's only working on the shadow areas, not working much in the background in the highlight areas. Okay. If I try to pull the blacks, it will try to overall enhance the image. It won't restore the color. It will just remove the blacks from the image. See. Now when I pull the shadows, see, if I pull the shadows over here, it will try to recover the shadows, which are the shadows, and try to retain the midtones, blacks, as well as the colors. But when I pull the blacks, it will only try to reduce the blacks in the image. So the basic difference, can you see now? See, the shadows are still over here. Can you see? As I remove the black, the shadows are over here maintained. But when I work with the shadow, it will remove the shadow from there because there is all a proper shadow. It's not black. Now you can feel the difference. Now you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Same goes with the highlights. See, if I increase the exposure, now I try to decrease the whites. It will overall just try to reduce the whites in the image till its maximum limit. But if I reduce the highlight, all the highlighted areas in my image, including the white, it will try to recover that totally. It will try to only recover the highlighted area of my image. Now let's go with the neutral image. See, this is a neutral image. Now, if I pull the blacks, it's pulling out all the blacks out from the image. And if I pull the shadows, it will only pull out the shadows from my image. Wherever there is shadow, it will try to remove the shadow from my image, right from a face till the jeans, till everywhere. It is just pulling out the shadows, maintaining the highlights as it is. Now, if I try to remove the blacks, it will in totality try to remove the blacks from the image, not increase the shadows in the image or remove the shadows from the image. It will try to enhance the blacks in the image. See, it's only enhancing the blacks in the image, that includes in the highlight part also. Here shadow, it will try to remove all the shadows from the image. But here you can see it's trying to remove the blackness from the midtones also, as well as the shadows also, as well as the highlights also. But in shadow, it will only remove the midtones, will be only the shadow areas of the images. It will try to remove. Same goes for the highlights. If you try to pull back the highlight, it will only try to reduce the highlights in the image. But in whites, it will totally overall try to reduce the whites in the image. So basically, when we are doing highlight control, shadow control, and black control, we have to see one thing in it: ki how much highlights we want to control and how much whites we want to control. Suppose there is an no. Suppose I increase the highlights in whites in this image. See, it's all washed out now because it has increased the whites in the image. But if I increase the highlights in the image, it will only increase the highlights of the image. It won't wash out the mid-tone parts. Now in whites, it will try to wash out the mid-tone parts also. So basically, when we are playing with highlights and whites, we try to see if we neutralize the white and then try to increase the highlights according to our choice. Or if we neutralize the whites and highlights and we try to increase the whites, you will see again the same problem happens. It will try to increase whites in all the images, not balancing out the highlights of the image. So this is a basic difference between highlights and whites. Again, if we neutralize the whites, now you can see the highlight portion or the white portion are much more neutral in this image. You can see this, the difference. You can see the difference. As I reduce the whites completely, now all the white areas or the highlighted areas from the image has been neutralized. See, now if I want a little bit of highlights in the image, now see, it will only try to enhance the highlights of the image, which are major highlights. It won't try to wash out the image completely. But here, if I neutralize the white highlights first and then try to pull off the whites, bring the whites, it will in total increase the whiteness of my image. Now you can see the difference, both. Any questions about highlights and whites? Any questions? Okay.
It's okay.
So basically, white is a neutralized point which will always increase and decrease the whites of the image, and highlight is a point which will always increase and decrease the highlights of your image. So whenever you want to play or control the contrast or overexposure, first try to neutralize the whites and then try to pull out the basic highlights areas of the image. So you will try to get a very balanced out image. Same goes with the blacks. See, if I try to pull the blacks of the image, it will try to fade out the image. Now, if I neutralize my blacks, now if I try to pull out the shadows, it will only enhance the shadows without affecting my color. But now, if I neutralize the shadows and try to bring out the blacks, it will be flat off. It will keep it will keep the clippings around, the shadow clippings around. Can you see here? Can you see this? In the beards, the shadows are maintained. Let's go with a darker image. Now, can you see this image? Okay. Now, if I try to pull the blacks down, it will darken now. Okay. Now, if I try to recover the shadows, you can easily recover out the shadows. Only the shadows. Now, if I try to start pull out the blacks, it will reduce the blacks as well as increase the shadows that I have increased. It will show out there. Now, if I try to pull out the shadows, it will reduce the shadows of the image. So basically what happens, whatever the shadow of the image uh, has hided in the image or has darkened out the image, the shadows will try to pull that out from the shadow areas. This. But what a black will do, it will try to neutralize the entire image and try to put off the black from the entire image, reduce the black from the entire image. See. Now, wait. Just mark this area. Can you see this area? Which I have marked.
Yes.
Now, if I pull the blacks, the blacks of that area is also changing because though it's a highlighted area. But if I pull out the shadows, it won't affect there that much because the shadows over there are very less. So this is the basic difference between shadow, highlights, whites and blacks. Any questions about this? Any questions about this? Okay, so let's go to another portion. Basically, preferences. We have to understand the preferences. The preferences side comes, this is the tonal part area. Whatever tone that you want to create. Now, this is the preferences part area. Preferences part area works basically first the texture. What happens in texture, it will try to enhance the textures of the hue, saturation as well as the luminance and try to sharpen out the image including the hue, saturation and luminance means white, blacks and midtones. See. But whenever we are trying to put a clarity, it will try to enhance the whites and blacks only. The whites and blacks only. Feel the difference between the both? See, it's trying to enhance the whites and blacks more from each part of your image. But when we increase texture, it will try to enhance the hue, saturation, luminance. So basically, when we try to enhance the image, If you want to enhance the blacks and whites very effectively, you go for a clarity. It will be very predominantly increase the blacks and whites of your image. Try to give you a very HDR kind of image, then you can easily neutralize it with the yellow and shadows and little highlights. But if you want to enhance the texture of the image, always go for the texture part because it will enhance according to the hue, colors, and as well as the luminosity of the image. Any doubts about this? Any doubts about this? Fine. So any other questions up till now? Any doubts? So let's come to the third part, dehaze. What does dehaze? Haze means there is a white coating in your image. So whenever a white image, as we call a foggy image, so Photoshop and Lightroom has given a preference to increase the dehaze or to increase the dehaze, the white part or the black part, enhancing and reducing the colors. So as we dehaze, decrease the dehaze towards the white area, you will see there will be a white foggy kind of an image. As we increase the dehaze, the colors will increase as well as the blacks of the image will also increase. See, now let me take a daylight photo, it will be much more visible. See, in normal dehaze condition, the foggy condition that we can say, it will try to neutralize the color. It won't remove the color value and put more of a white casting or a foggy casting. If we increase the dehaze, it will try to enhance the blacks and saturation of the image. And you see the difference? Any doubts still now? Any doubts still now? So let's come to the saturation part. Basically, what does saturation and vibrance part? So what does the saturation and vibrance do to us? Basically, vibrance is a portion of color which will infect more towards your yellows and blues. Saturation will always try to enhance your yellows and blues and greens much more, and vibrancy will always try to increase your blues, yellows more, which is relative to the blue yellow zone, green a little, but saturation will try to always increase the overall redness, orangeness of your image. Now see, as I increase the vibrancy, you can see the increase in the blues of the image and as well as the yellows of the image. As I decrease, you will see a decrease in the blues and yellows of the image. Now let me take a darker image. Now you can see it is not totally black and white. As I reduce the vibrancy, it's not totally black and white. Only the yellows portions of the image have been reduced out. But what does a saturation do? It tries to enhance the reds completely, totally, or try to remove the color totally. This is the, see, now you see it's increasing the redness of the image, and as you pull down it will remove the color totally. Same goes with this black image. See, now as we can see there is no such let me take another good example. Okay, now if I increase the vibrancy over here, you see the yellows, the blues are affecting me very strongly, and as I reduce, the yellows and the blues are trying to get totally off. But with saturation, if I increase, it will try to increase the red tones much more, and the orange tone much more, as well as the yellow tones. But as I decrease, it will totally remove the colors from the image. Any doubts or any questions about this? Shall we proceed with another?
Yes, we can proceed.
Okay. Clear till now? So let's understand the curves. You can see one more thing. In curves, we have highlights, lights, darks, shadows. In curves, it totally works with your black, gray, and white point. It won't work at all with your color points, means saturations, saturations and hues. It won't work. It will totally try to eliminate the highlight or neutralize a highlight or a light area with white, gray and black. Now see, if I reduce the highlights over here, can you see a tinge of gray? It is trying to neutralize like this. Can you see? The image over here is gray. Watch out for this area. Now if I try to reduce the lights also, it's trying to put off all the light, the white parts into gray. Now if I increase the highlights over here, it will try to make it white. Now if I increase the lights over here, it will try to make it whiter. Same goes with the darks. If I pull out the darks, it will try to bring out the most of the blacks from the image. Now you see the basic difference. If I pull the shadows over here, you can see it's tried to darken out most of the black areas or shadow areas. But in normal shadow, it will take a neutral area. It won't pitch pure black. Now, if I try to pull the darks over here, it will try to push it clearly towards the black. Now, if I push the blacks over here, it will try to maintain a neutral zone and maintain a color zone. Now see, you can see the darks are working more towards the entire dark zone here. And basically this is the adjustment area which we can just select the area and see here. It's now working on the highlights only. Now here it's working on this is the light zone of the area. You can see whatever zone that you are taking. Now if I change it, it's on the dark zone of the area. Now if I go aside little, it's in the highlight portions of the area. The cornermost tips are the highlight portions of the area, and bottommost area are the shadow points of the area. So this up to this area, this portion area is the mid-tone part, or we can say the high lights and dark part. Lights and dark part. The corner tips are more towards the highlights and shadows. The center area is more towards the darks and lights. And this is the zone which we can neutralize, and now we can shift the zone according to our choice. Now it's going towards the darker zone. If I pull it out, it will come down to the brighter zone. So this is the way we can fine tune our adjustment also with this three parameters according to our choice. It's the white point, it's the black point, it's the midtone point. Now this button over there, if you click it, you can see straight away pick a point in the image and try to adjust it without touching the curves. You can see straight away work with the given points. See, now if I want to work with the blacks only, now if I see only the shadow portion of my images are now getting enhanced because I have picked the shadow point. Now if I go with a darker point with this same image, suppose I go for a darker point. Now it will try to now if I take a highlighted area, see these are darker areas. And this is a pure highlight area. So this is how we manage the image through curves. Next, if you double click here, it will change to RGB. This is a basic luminance curve which will change the overall luminance, where you can select a point and work on it, any given point, like a regular curve. So now we can go to the highlight, come down to the shadow, uh, work more on the shadows. And this is the RGB curve. Reds, red, if you take the reds and put it up, it will increase the reds, and if you put it down, it will increase the cyan. Greens, if you put it up, it will increase the greens, it will increase the, if you put it down, it will increase the magentas. Same, it will in blues, it will try to increase the blues. If you put it up, if you try to put it down, it will try to mark more on the blues. So the basic difference between this and the other is, this is a free point working zone and this is a point sample wise. The area you take, this is more of a point curve. The area you take, you won't be flexible to select a second point. It will work from that specific point only. Now you have to wait again, select a point and then work on again. This is more of a point sample base, and that's more of a selecting many points you can do the adjustment. These are the two basic difference between these curves. And this curve only has points of highlights, lights, dark, shadows. And if you double click, it has an overall histogram of the image working on the areas and points that we select, as well as it has more of a working of the red, blues and greens, the RGB channel. Any doubts about it? Any doubts about it? Any questions? Any confusion, questions or any doubts? Okay, so we can proceed further. Now let's come to the color profile. Color profile basically is a group of hue, saturation and luminosity. So there is a palette of colors: red, orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue, purple, magenta. If you select all, it will show all the colors of the hue of all the colors, the saturation of all the colors, and the luminance of all the colors. And if you select, suppose the saturation only, it will only show the saturation area. If you select the U only, it will show the U area. If you select luminance, it will show the luminance area. If you click the HSL part, sorry, HSL part. Now, if you click the color part, the colors blocks will come over the top, and you can see right now it's selected in orange. So orange U is showing, saturation is showing, luminance is showing. If I select green, green's U, saturation and luminance. If you click all, it will be divided to all the colors with their hue, saturation and luminance. So basically in colors, it's directed with the three color zones. With that detail in HSL, it will show the complete palette with all the colors or what the specific kind of work you want to do. Suppose it's a hue, saturation or luminance. So what does this hue, saturation and luminance does? Let's try to work on this. So let's come to the color area, so it will be much more easier. Now suppose I take a blue. So U is basically for the color shift of the colors. For the color shift of the colors. Saturation is for increasing or totally removing out the colors from that color, and luminance is increasing the brightness, whites, or increasing the darkness of the color. So we are in a blue color. So if I start to shift with the U, you can see this is the portion where it's toward the cyan. It won't affect any other colors. It will only affect the blue colors of the image. Now it's toward more of the purple. Purple, so if you mix it, it will come over on the magenta side of the image. Okay, so let's see. Now let's neutralize it once again. Now saturation. It will try to increase the saturation, the colors, or totally remove the colors from the blue parts of the area of the image. Same goes with luminance. If you increase the luminance, it will try to increase the whites or the brightness of the image of the blue colors. And if you decrease it, bring it to more toward the black, it will try to deep out or dark out the blacks of the blue color. So basically, the HSL and color mode is a single individual color palette which you select and move, and it will try to shift the that colors details in color shift in hue, saturation to increase the colors or to decrease the colors, luminance is to increase the whites and decrease the blacks. So let's back in. Suppose orange is the most closest to our skin color. If I now shift the hue, see it will try to change more the colors of the orange in our image. Now if I increase the saturation, it will try to change more of the saturation of the skin color, and if I increase the luminance, it will try to increase and decrease whites and blacks of our image, of our skin tone. Same goes, suppose this is the yellow color, I want to color change it. Okay, now I shift the color, increase the luminance, and so you can see a total shift in the color. It's working specifically on the yellow. Some portion of yellow in the space also will get affected, so you have to see accordingly. Let's same go with the magenta part. So no, magenta isn't there. Let's see magenta part. Yeah. Now play with the blues. Let's see what yellows we have, what greens we have in this image. There are no such greens. So got the point. What does a HSL and color palette do? Clear about it? Clear about it? It affects the hue, saturation and luminance of the individual color that we have picked. Basically, it does that only. Any doubts, any questions? Any doubts, any questions you have? Up till now, whatever we have explained or talked about?
Okay.
No. Sorry, let's move ahead. Second is the split toning. What's a split toning? Split toning is basically a color tone we put on the image, overall image, to create a grading of the image. Basically, it works on the highlight part and saturation part, and the balance part is to increase or to decrease the color. So here we have a simple way to split tone and take a picker to give a tone that of desired tone that you want to your image, which will be clearly visible what kind of a color shift it's giving. So it's basically a color shift. Now if I increase the saturation, you will see the tinge of the greens increasing. This will work more toward the brighter area of the images, and shadows it will work more toward the darker area of the images. Now here is to darken out the tone or to totally whiten out the tone. So basically this is to add a color grade to your image. Any doubts about split toning? Or any questions regarding split toning? Okay, let's move forward. Next we come down to the sharpening. Basically what sharpening does, sharpening will try to enhance the textures, not the saturation or colors of the texture. It will try to enhance the texture with the blacks and whites only. Now understand the difference between texture. See, whenever we increase the texture, you can see the increase in the colors also. But whenever we increase the sharpness, you will only see the enhancement of the blacks only and whites only. Now, can you see the enhancement of the blacks over here in this image? But when we play with the texture, it will try to increase the colors also, enhance the colors also. Now let's come to the sharpen part. This is the amount of sharpening that we want to give. This is the radius. The more we increase the radius, the more the diameter of the sharpness will increase or decrease. If we reduce, it will reduce the most, it will increase the most. And this is the detail, more punching out more blacks and increasing the whites more. And this is the masking. Masking is the area that we want, the black areas we want to smoother, or the white areas we want smoother. We can see to that option. Now the best way to see to the sharpening is press the option button or alt button in your press the command or alt button in your image in your keyboard, and now try to pull the sharpen. Now you can see clearly in black and white the difference, because it's trying to increase the blacks and whites of the sharpness. Can you see now? Very predominantly. Let me put it like this way. Okay. Now press the keyboard, the Alt or the Command button. Command for the Mac users, Alt for the Windows users. Now you can see there's an increase in the blacks and whites of the image. For radius, as you press and start, now it will show the radius, how much radius it has put in the sharpness in. Now with the detail, it will show how much detail it has tried to put in the image. Now masking, now it will try, you will try to decide on, see, the area that will now try to get smoother, like the blacks, the shadows are getting smoother, means that area the sharpness is trying to reduce. The whites which are not smoother that much, that area the sharpness is there. See, the blacks are smoother now. If I now reduce it, you will see the blacks will be more deeper and the shadows will be more prominent. Now as I increase, it will try to reduce the blackness or the whiteness of the image. Any doubts about sharpening? Any doubts about sharpening? Any questions about sharpening? Let's move on to the next. Same goes with the noise. The more we increase the noise, the more it will try to reduce the noise of the image. It will try to reduce the noise of the image, and it will try to increase or reduce the details as well as the contrast ratio. This basically works more on the luminance, mean brightness part, and this will work more on the color part. So when we use noise reduction, you can see we are losing out the textures. You increase the detail, increase the contrast by a little. Now if we work with the colors, we are whitening out the colors, we are increasing, try to increase the details and try to smoothen out the details. So this is how we work with the noise reduction of the image. Now let's come to the lens correction. Lens correction is basically every lens has its own way of color calibration or color calculation and distortion calculation. So whenever we take a wider aperture photos, if I can see any fringe in the photos, I can easily tell you. Yeah, see, suppose I take remove fringes. So manually, if we go, we try to remove the purple fringe. You can see the purple now turning more towards black and white gray area. Can you see over here? Now this is how we can adjust the blue fringes, the green fringes, and decide on the green and hue. This is how we can control the fringes of the image. And the next part is, now as we enable lens, what the lens gives us a profile, you will see there is a slight increase in the brightness of the image because it depends according to the image. The lens, it has its own setup and values. It will try to work like according to that only. Now if there is any sort of distortion created by the lens, now let me take this image, and if I hit the lens correction, you will see there will be a slight correction in the lens. If I hit the lens profile correction, can you see? Now you can manually adjust it, the distortion according to your choice. Now, every lens has a specific vignetting issue in their image. Like this, there is a slight vignette in this corners. So you can always correct those vignettes in lens correction through these areas. See. So always vignetting can be corrected through lens correction. Now it's all subjective to your choice. If you want to keep the profile on of the lens and do the correction of the lens by itself only, and you can work manually also with it. This is basically a transformation tool which will try to transform vertically, horizontally of your image. Try to change the aspect ratio of your image, scale from front to back, the scale from the canvas, and the axis point, right to left, top to bottom. Any doubts up till now? Any questions or any doubts? So shall we proceed now? Any questions? Okay, no questions, then we can move on. Now this is basically creating a vignette in our own image. Basically that will come in three priorities. Color priority, it will try to bring the colors to the last darken. Color priority, but whenever we do, second is highlight priority. This is the amount. The plus you go, it will go to the whiter side. The minus you go, this is for the midpoint. How mid you want to bring it, or how further you want to bring it. And the third is the roundness, how rounder you want or how rectangular you want. The fourth is the feather. The more you increase the feather, the more it will blend. The more you decrease the feather, the more it will be more like a spotlight kind of effect, and increase the highlights of the corners and decrease. Paint overlay will try to give you an overlay kind of a look. These are little minor changes that happen, not major, something major happens. And highlight priority, it will try to work more on the highlight, and color priority will work on the given solid color. That's black or white. Any other questions? So let's come to the grain. Grain is a way to add a little noise to your image. So now you can see if I so can you see the grains getting added? Now this is the size. The more you reduce it, the more shorter the noise size will be. The grain size will be, the more you increase, the larger the grain size will be. And this is the roughness. The more you increase it, it will be a rougher grain size. The more you decrease will be a smoother grain size. So basically in commercial pictures, we try to, rather than using sharpening, we try to, let me take an image of commercial pictures, then the idea will be much more clearer. Rather than putting sharpening, we try to do the sharpen or enhance the image more with the grains thing. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
See, there is a sharpness, but there is no shiny sharpness as we put in sharp. It's just the increase of the micro contrast, or we can say the micro blacks, whites, and midtones of the image. Can you see the difference between both the images? It gives the illusion of increased sharpness in your image. But as you put a regular sharpness, it will try to increase the shine of the image as well as. Let's see. Where is the sharpness? Now, when we use grains, it will just try to enhance the blacks, whites, and midtones. Let me reduce. So clear between both the kinds of things we can work on. Clear about it?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts up till now? You can ask me. Any confusion or any doubts you have? Okay, so let's move further now.
Yes, actually, I have some just a query.
Hmm.
In the profile, there is this, from the global adjustment, there is a
Profile.
profile. Okay,
I told
so
it previously
Arab
only. It's
landscape portrait.
basically Adobe Color. It's basically a color science which the Adobe gives. Okay. First thing I told about, it's a profile. Now there is the camera profile also added with you, which you have in your camera. Okay.
Okay,
You go to the camera profile, you will always see camera neutral, camera portrait, camera standard, camera this. Whichever profile you have clicked in, you have to change it to that profile. Now you can see the change in both the profiles side by side. If I keep,
huh.
this is standard Adobe Color. Now if I have clicked in camera neutral, it will come like this according to it. That's why we assign the camera inside over there. Basically understand one thing, whenever you see to it now, you as you are not getting it, when you check on the camera settings, which was the second point you have shown me. Okay,
Okay,
then
okay.
whenever a camera will come, it will try to assign that camera. Now right now, see what's the difference that's coming out. This is also a nice part to see, an interesting part to see. So in the interface, not interface, preset, now see 6G is showing as it is clicked with the 6G. Okay, can
Okay.
you see? Now
Yes,
if
yes.
I take an image, now this image, now if I go to the preference file, what is it showing? Nikon D850. Can you see?
Yes.
Because it's clicked with the Nikon D850. So check on that uh, first thing to assign this with serial number which is written over there. No?
Yes. Actually, in my it's showing that make a default specific to camera serial number.
You check on that.
Okay, I checked on that.
Hmm. When
After
next time
that,
you will, next time you will come down, you will start seeing the models, which model you have
okay,
clicked with. Okay.
okay, okay.
Hmm. So let's go to the preference palette. And let me now keep it a more of a default mode. Let me come down again. So let's work. Now see, as you are asking for the profile part, we have the before and after. Now see, if I click out on camera vivid, so can you see the color difference?
Hmm.
So basically, whichever camera model, now if you browse, we'll get quite a few camera settings over here. Okay, these are some artistic settings given by Adobe themselves only, Photoshop and for Lightroom, which you can directly use to color grade your image. These are some artistic settings that have been given by in black and white mode. This is a modern mode. This is a vintage mode, which Photoshop by default has given. And this is the 11 favorite modes, means my basic camera profile setting as well as the basic Adobe profile settings, which I have put in favorite mode, so that anytime when I open the basic first, this favorite profiles will show me clearly over here. Okay, which I have selected as clear favorites. I have marked as favorites. To mark as favorites, what you have to do? Just go and select this mark. Like wait,
Okay.
see, this star is not selected right now. Okay, so it's not in my favorite list. Now it's been in my favorite list. If I put off, now it's not in my favorite list. So this is how we can assign the camera profile. Basically, camera profile works best as whatever camera profile we have clicked in, we try to match that camera profile so we get much more accurate color. This is a major difference that people face. Most of when you open an image, it will always come like this, Adobe Color. It will always come like this, Adobe Color.
Is there any way after maybe 1 year, after 1 year, we don't remember in which profile we showed that photo? So is there any way to find it out in which profile maybe
No,
I showed that?
it's only with the default camera software, which if you like in Canon provides a default camera software, Nikon provides a camera software where you can see which picture profile you have clicked with. But with Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop, it won't show the default picture profile. But your default, like Nikon has a default camera for raw conversion and everything as Capture NXT. Whenever I open the image over there, it will show in which picture profile I have clicked it, because it's the camera's personal profile. Okay, that companies. Similarly, Canon also gives that for conversion and raw and correction. Also, it gives a specific software which you can do your conversion with. I don't know about Sony, but Nikon and Canon definitely gives. I don't know the Canon's name, but there is a software in Canon where you can easily do raw corrections without using your Lightroom or Photoshop also. Corrections, not gradings. Okay, there you will find the uh, picture profile that you have worked with. But with Adobe Lightroom, Camera Raw and Adobe Lightroom, it's the default and you have to memorize which picture profile you have clicked with. So normally this is an drawback of this. Any other question? So let's come down to the calibration part. Calibration part is basically a part which takes the primary color of that color and tries to mix with the hue and saturation of that given color or try to change it. First and foremost, tint. Till now, we had tried to work more on the exposure and contrast part or temperature part. Now we are working on the tint part. First, now you can, it is the tint part. So what does it do? As you try to change the tint, it will try to shift the colors. Okay, it will try to shift the colors. Now the basic difference is, now understand the basic difference. Here when I remove it, it's trying to shift the tint in overall image. Can you get it? See it? It's trying to shift the tint in the overall image. But here it will try to shift the tint only in the shadows of the image. Got a basic idea what the difference between both the tints? So now what happens, whenever we try to play with the tints, red primary, it will try to change the colors or tints in the shadows of the image. Mostly on the shadows of the image and mostly on the highlights, and some in the highlights and some in the midtones. Like see, we take the red primary, and if we try to change, it will try to shift the colors in the red primary. Primarily the changes will be in the red, but secondary changes will be in the other colors. Like see, now if we try to reduce the saturation, same goes with the greens. Now with the blues, what happens? It will try to mix the colors very strongly with the blues. See. So basically in calibration, the first part is the shadow part. Now red primary, the first area is the hue area where you will get a color shift. Color shift, basically first it will take the primary color. If there is an image with a specific primary color like red, then it will try to mostly work the hues on the reds and the saturation on the red, and try to lesser influence the image on the other colors in that given picture. See, here there is a quite a significant amount of red. So mostly my red is only getting influenced. A little portion of my green is getting influenced. Here is a significant amount of greens. So mostly my greens are getting influenced and my reds are shifting towards a little other colors. And same goes with the saturation. Now blue, there is no such color blue. Now it will try to totally shift the colors according to its choice or according to the mixture of the color. Now let me explain this. Can you see this Photoshop screen? Can you see the Photoshop screen? Can you get me? Can you see the Photoshop screen right now with these three colors?
Yes. Three colors. Yes.
Everybody is seeing that only, no?
Yes. Three
So
colors.
basically what it does, we are right normal what we see, a yellow color and a blue color, okay? You can see this. So if we divide with yellow and blue, what we get? A lighter shade, okay? If we subtract it, we get a darker shade. If we exclude it, we to get a totally different color, a pink color. If we put down the difference, it will be a darker pink. Same with the palette. In luminance, it will try to neutralize the color and make it to a, now if we include both the colors, yellow and blue, it will come more to the the dark brown part. We are including a color in the yellow and blue and we are getting much more dark brown part. Now let me come here. Now can you see the Lightroom screen? The Lightroom screen is visible now to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now see, as I include colors in blue, it will try to change primary the colors. Like, can you see now the cyan color coming? Got it? See. Now if I include, it will get a darker or it will get a neutral color. So basically it's making a combination of two colors and creating a third color. Because the primary blues in this, there are no blues in this image for us. There are very slight blues in the skies which it is enhancing already. And but the greens and these, they just trying to change the colors or blend out the colors as we saw in the Photoshop image. Now let's come down to a image which has more of a bluish color. You can see this image right now. Now, you can see the image with the blue sky. Okay.
Yes.
So now you can see as I am trying to change, it's trying to only work in the blues as the color given downside. See, the color is cyan over there, is shifting more toward the cyan. The color is magenta, purplish, it will change to magenta. You can see it's shifting towards magenta right now because there is a primary blue color there to work for. Now if I increase the saturation, it will try to increase and decrease the saturation. So whatever primary color is there, it will first try to work on that primary color, and all the secondary colors, it will try to mix with the opposite color, and whatever color comes out, it will try to produce that color. This is a basic work of calibration in shadows in red primary, green primary, blue primary.
Suppose I don't want to my main image. I mean the main subject. I don't want to change
You can
any
speak in Bengali
color
also if
and
you are
just
not.
want to change the color of the screen. So
See,
with this tools, it is possible.
no, you already have one more option over there. What option?
That is a local adjustment with
No.
that.
That's why I was
I'm
constantly asking you. see, now I will explain you few things. Now you can see this image of a couple with full amount of greens. You can see.
Yes. Yes.
Now if I try one to, now this is a color but it's affecting my skins also, right?
Hmm.
Now what we can do, we have another primary object. That's why I was asking very clearly, be specific. Now here we have the colors, the HSL portion of our. Now we can get it here.
Okay.
Now see, if I
Yes.
shift
Yes.
the greens and now shift the yellows, I get the same effect. Got it?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because it's working individually on that color. Okay. But with camera calibration, it definitely works with the individual of the color. But if there is any secondary color, it will try to create the color that you are putting into that color. It will try to create the color which comes with the mixing of the two colors. Got my point?
Okay.
So these are the primary things which are very important for color grading. Knowing the things. Now, right now, let's take this image. Let's take this image. Okay, here is the image we have taken. Now, here we can shift it, see. But the issue is coming, my skin tones and my yellows are gone. Okay, now there are only two ways, either to mask it out or either go to the yellows and try to bring back the yellows. But there will be a shift in the colors always, understand that. So with masking you can do, or with the proper color balance. Now orange is the proper skin tone that we have. Okay.
Okay.
Now if you go towards the yellows, now you can see the yellows are coming out a little more. Now the proper yellows are coming out a little more.
Yes.
So the best, now the issue with this is, the best way to do is, suppose if you want a shadow calibration, you just increase the yellows, the skin tones. Okay. Now you will see it's a more yellowish kind of a thing, right?
Hmm.
Now, if we go to the calibration part, it won't affect that much as we think so. Now we go to the orange part also. So this is how we can balance out the images. Or masking is a very effective way to do. Best way is to do the masking part. Basically, masking is more like playing with the layers of the image in Photoshop. Because anything in Photoshop that you do, overall you have to, it's a global correction. You have, when you mask, it's a local correction. So any other doubts regarding this? So today's session, I am stopping the recording right now.